So, all right, LeBron James or Michael Jordan, who's the best of all time?
Oh, wow. Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
That's
girl,
not
I love
taking
it.
away from LeBron, but LeBron is not Michael Jordan.
He is not, is he? I love it. I love
Yeah.
it so much. I'm so glad you said that. You're one of my best friends now. Wealth Warriors, today we have Brittani Hunter in-house. She is Agent Brittani. She's the only agent for the NBA in the state of Oklahoma. She's owns her own coffee shop called Spike Coffee. She is a killer business owner. She's up and coming, and I think this girl's going to be on fire. So thanks for joining us today. You're definitely in for a treat. Brittani, thank you for being here today. I know you're a busy girl, and I want to make sure that these guys hear everything that you do because it's so interesting. When I was first introduced to you, I think the big thing is just the impact that you're making on the coffee industry, number one. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about that. So you own several businesses, but I want to get to them one at a time here. But tell me about the coffee business, how it's different.
Well, so it's not different in Tulsa. So in Tulsa, we have a ton of coffee cocktail bars.
Well, we do, yeah.
But in Oklahoma City, we didn't have any.
Ah.
And so prior to me opening Spiked, I didn't even realize how many Tulsa had. But I created it in college because I was a college student who needed coffee, but also needed libations.
Of course.
And so I was like, one day I should spike coffee for a living. And so here we are with spiked coffee.
Okay. Where are you located in Oklahoma City?
So I am off of Northeast 23rd, and MLK is the closest major intersection, but we're like 2 miles away from the state capitol.
Oh, okay. So
Mm-hmm.
pretty high traffic area. Mm-hmm. People can find you if they wanted to find you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Right off of 23rd.
So why coffee? Other than the fact that you love coffee and you need to stay awake.
I don't know. I feel like coffee found me. So I went to Oklahoma State. We took a entrepreneurship course where the first semester we created the branding, the marketing strategy for a coffee cart on campus. And then we created the proposal to ask the dean for the money for it. And then the second semester we launched it. And so it was great. I loved it, but I couldn't give it my all like I wanted to because at that time I worked for the Oklahoma City Thunder. And so basketball, coffee is kind of always revolved around one another. And so I was like, this is great. I should spike it one day. And so that was 2015. Well, then when COVID hit, I was unemployed. I didn't have anything to do other than basketball and coffee. Uh-huh. So I was like, I'm going to open a coffee shop.
Right on.
I'm going to spike it.
Fantastic. So let's go back. You said you took a college course on entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. Is it different in college than it is outside?
Oh, absolutely.
So tell me about it.
I'm financially responsible now.
There you go. Yeah.
It has to work. In college, it was okay if it failed.
That's right.
In real life, if it fails, I'm going to get sued.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's the scariest part.
It is the scariest part. There's so many listeners that are trying to start that business or coming from working for someone else, trying to strike out on their own.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest problem is fear, right?
Uh-huh. I'm still scared.
Yeah.
I work full time. In addition to my businesses, I still work, so I have that safety net. But I don't know what to say to encourage anyone. I tell people all the time, I'm an accidental entrepreneur. So I joked about it with my friends at a Sunday at brunch because where we went to, they had a coffee cocktail menu. And I was like, you guys, I want to do this. And they're like, do it. But we're drunk. Like, we're not in our right minds. Right, yeah. On Monday, I accidentally drove by the location and loved it. Drove by that building my entire life, never noticed it before. Wow. Finally noticed it. By the next Monday, I signed my pre-lease. So, and I was broke. I didn't have a business plan. I was relying on unemployment at the time. Like, I didn't have anything. And I just kept getting opportunities thrown in my lap. So we got like $65,000 in grants our first year. So I only had to get a $40,000 loan. And people just like my property manager was like, hey, I own these apartments. We're changing stuff. You want these countertops? And I was like, throw them on my bar. So we just kept getting opportunity after opportunity. It was like I couldn't not do it.
Absolutely.
Now, if I could go back in time, would I be more financially prepared? Business prepared, just a different mindset? Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I would never do what I did again because It's scary.
You're not the first entrepreneur. If they could go back in time, man, I tell you what, I'd change this or change that. So what's the number one thing that probably hits you out of the gate where you maybe you had a regret out of the gate of doing it? Was there any of those moments?
No, I don't regret it at all, because in addition to creating a good time, my goal was to create a safe space. So where we're located is traditionally a low poverty income area. And it is going through a gentrification process. It's slow and steady, but it is changing. But I didn't want to take away from what the community was. Yeah. And so doing my research, I found out that in the 80s, my location was a coffee shop. And so we are right now like working to get a drink on our menu that pays homage to that coffee shop. We keep hygiene products in our bathroom. In the wintertime, we keep a coat rack outside, because I feel like you can't just go into a space, because I'm from Tulsa originally, so I couldn't just go into Oklahoma City and take from Oklahoma City. I felt like I needed to be contributing some way. I love it. Yeah, so I wouldn't change it at all, because, the community needs us. Yeah.
So that is probably, you hit on the head there. Every business that I've ever had, the moment I start giving to others, it's like, and I have a philosophy in my business, and I've told this on camera many times, that if you help enough people get what they want, you're going to get what you want.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's all about that giving.
Yeah. So literally last week, I was in the back bawling, crying, because a lot of our people who come in are homeless people, but they know they have like spiked etiquette. They know, some places you go, as soon as a homeless person comes in, they kick them out. Yeah. They know they're welcomed, so they know how they act like productive citizens. They don't come in trying to disrupt us. And so his name is Black, and he came to the counter and he's like, I'd like to purchase a latte and pay for it in full. And to me, it made me feel so good, because we've given him so many, not as just charity, because if you're cold, you need to warm up. Like, we want to take care of you. So for him to have that pride to come in with money, I was like,
oh, that's so cool. I love it.
But it was like further confirmation that I'm doing the right thing. So that made me feel good.
Good deal. So you've been in business with the coffee since when?
So technically April 2020. We officially opened our doors like Monday through Saturday, September 2021.
So, you officially opened in September 2021. Okay. Right. So we're coming up on the 1 year anniversary, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. So many businesses don't make it past that point. They make it. They have all these little things that get in their way, and it sounds like you're taking the step process right. Everything's moving forward.
Nope, no.
Good. I love it.
Not.
Tell me. Talk to me.
Just a couple of weeks ago, we were close to not making it.
Wow.
Because it's hard. It's hard. And I think what every entrepreneur needs is working capital. And I underestimated the amount that we needed.
Yes.
And when I was dividing my money between Spiked and my agency, I probably spent too much on my agency side. And so it definitely took away from Spike. Now, again, the community wants us there, because I told 5 people, hey, we need to make like $5,000. And we made exactly $5,000. Awesome. And it wasn't because people were just giving us money, but it was because people actually came and purchased our products. So, it's a learning curve every day.
It is a learning curve every day. With the reason why we do this, for people to listen and go that, you know what, you're not alone. And everybody thinks they're an island. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm the worst business owner ever. No, you just don't. You just got to get around other people. Get those ideas out there and understand that you're not an island. You got to absorb all these different points of view and steps and things of that nature. Okay, so I'm going to get to something a little bit more fun.
Okay.
Talk to me about your agency, because this is so cool, guys.
What do you want to know? It's just fun.
You are the only one in Oklahoma that has you're an agency for in the NBA.
Yes.
And
so I'm the only licensed NBPA Players Association agent in the state of Oklahoma. Yeah.
So tell me what that experience has been like. What first of all, how'd you get down that road?
I don't know. So I have a heart condition, so I can never play sports. But I love sports. I've always been a daddy's girl. Like, my dad, when I was like 5, had me in like basketball training like 12 hours a day almost. It was ridiculous because I was supposed to go to the WNBA. But I knew that I couldn't play sports. So, or once we find out, we knew I could no longer play. And so it was kind of like my And forgive me, but it was kind of like my F you to the world. Like, oh, I'm going to be in sports.
Yeah.
Can't tell me I can't.
I like it.
Yeah. So I've always followed sports. I always loved them. And my degree was in sports management. And so once I graduated, I took a year to just relax. The next year I went and I took the test. And then the year after that, I started hiring interns. And we had a fun first year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on.
But I should say this too. And I tell people this all the time. Like, I failed the first time I went to take the test. So do not let failure stop you.
Awesome. I love it.
But it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
It's inevitable.
You fail
but
forward,
it's
right?
how how you come back after that failure is what makes you a great person. So.
That's right. So, all right. LeBron James or Michael Jordan, who's the best of all time?
Oh, wow. Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
that's
girl,
not
I love
taking
it.
away from LeBron. But LeBron is not Michael Jordan.
He is not, is he? I love it. I love
Yeah.
it so much. I'm so glad you said that. You're one of my best friends now. All right. So, talk about the sports agency. That could be a pretty hectic thing because a lot of people think of that as like,
glitz
Tom
and glamour,
Cruise
rich, and
and
it
all
is
the
not
thing-
Jerry Maguire.
Yeah, right.
So it is Jerry Maguire in a sense. All of my guys I have personal relationships with. So I actually schedule in time for us just to let's go grocery shopping. Like, let's just do regular activities so we can get to know one another. Because a lot of guys complain. They're like, I don't even know my agent. And I'm like, but you signed with him. So
Right.
you accepted that, originally. So why is it an issue now? But I truly love my guys. Like, we're a family.
That's
like
awesome.
They're like my brothers in multiple ways than others. I tell them all the time, I'm like, you can come pick up a shift at Spiked. Like, I'll train you if you need. Come work.
Yeah, whatever you need
come
to do
cut
to
my
get there.
grass. Like,
That's right.
come do something. So we're a family.
Yeah.
But it's fun. I don't know. I feel like I'm fulfilling my purpose. I love helping people get to their next phase or stage in life.
Yeah.
And so to know that we are putting them in position to actually achieve their goals, their lifetime dreams, I love that.
Right. So somebody that's looking to get into the NBA. First of all, it's like one of those things, never tell me the odds, You ever heard that statement before,
they're
but
not good.
The odds aren't good.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of preparation, it takes a lot of practice. And if you've done any history on Michael Jordan, when the practice, and even LeBron, how much practice they've put in. They're there for anybody else.
Well, and even today's sports world, it is not what it was. So you're almost deemed a professional athlete from sixth grade. Like AAU basketball, if you're not getting noticed in AAU, unfortunately, you're probably not going to make it.
Wow.
So they're starting these kids out, which I personally hate, so young because they're taking away their childhoods.
Right.
And so then you have a bunch of kids. I will not say a player's name, but there's a specific player who's very demanding, but then you don't always, your play doesn't always equal what your demands are. And so it creates a lot of entitlement, for sure.
And you're dealing with a lot of egos, too, I'm sure.
Big egos. Yeah. I tell people all the time, working with players is like working with oversized kindergartners. And once you mentally prepare for that, then you can do it.
Yeah.
But you have to know what you're working with.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how is you mentioned how it's different today. So talk about how, if somebody comes to you and they want you to represent them as an agent, what is your onboarding process? I'm sure you have a qualification test.
Yeah.
And just going to walk in and
no.
talk to me. No, you got to meet these guidelines before I know I can put my name on it.
Oh, absolutely.
Does that make sense?
So I will say I'm a little bit more stricter, or a lot more stricter now than what I was, say, 2 years ago. So how I do it is you reach out to me. I'll check you out, but I have a team. I let them check you out first because a lot of times I can be biased. I'm like, oh, I know your family.
I know, right?
Oklahoma's so small. And so I'll be like, yeah, I'll work with you, but that doesn't work for us. So I will have them screen them. They'll watch the film. They'll look at their basketball resumes. And then if they say yes, we move forward. If they don't, or if they don't respond at all, I'm like, well, that means they weren't interested.
No doubt.
And so then once they give me their opinions, then I'll go back in and really take a deep dive into their footage and see what I want. And then I'll check with coaches. How's their attitude? How are they in real life? How are their grades in school? I don't want to just know you as a player. I want to know you personally. So once they kind of get through that, and if I like it, then we'll set up an in-person meeting where we kind of just talk about what I think I can do for them. and then, go from there. But a lot of times we don't get to that final stage.
Yeah. So it's very funneled, if you will. So you're going to take those top one or two guys or girls and run with them at that point.
And even then, I mean, it's so hard too, because I won't take that many people in. So I'll work with people and maybe not just get them in contract and just say, hey, if an opportunity presents itself, then I'll have you sign my contract, because I don't want to, the type of agent that I am, again, being very involved in their personal lives as well, I don't want to overcommit myself. And even this year, there's been several times where I've had to apologize to my guys. I'm like, I know we were supposed to chat today, but I am stuck at Spiked. So either come up here or we're going to have to reschedule.
Right.
And so it's just managing my time, because I want to be able to give them my all. So if I don't have time for it, I won't respond, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, and I was going to say that because, people don't necessarily know where to turn. Okay, I got this really talented kid. I don't know where to go. I'll be his own man. I'll be his manager. You hear that a lot from.
So you can do that, but then once you get to the big leagues, they require that and they'll there is special circumstances where they'll give you a pass and say, hey, you can work with that guy, but then you have to take our test. If you don't pass, that ends that.
Yeah.
So they're really strict about making sure their agents are prepared and have the proper education to be able to work with their guys, because we're talking millions of dollars.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's no small.
Well, and then once, a lot of people don't realize, once you get registered through the Players Association, you have to get registered in your state. Yeah. And then depending on the school's rules, you have to get registered through the school. So you mess up on one of those certifications and they're all messed up.
Wow.
So you have to be very careful. So for me, I could probably give you a list of guys who are like, she never called me back. And it's like, I can't. Yeah. It's not because of you. It's just I don't have the capacity.
Right.
And I want to be able to give it my all. And so I just can't.
Now, if you have somebody like Jordan walk in your door, it's a little different. You might.
What can I do for you?
Right.
That changes things.
It changes things a little bit. So if you think you're a little miniature Jordan, then they need to be looking you up.
It's funny because my nephew actually has been getting recruited by a lot of teams, and he's like, "Don't come to my games." I'm like, "Why not?" And he's like, "Cause you Agent Brittani now." And I'm like, "But I'm your auntie. I want to support you." And even my niece, she's been getting called by a lot of different high school teams are recruiting her, and I'm like, you want me to come? You want me to step in? She's like, don't do it.
Yeah, that's cool. That's very cool. Well, I think Oklahoma, they changed some of the laws where the college students can now start getting deals.
NIL.
So how's that changed the playing field?
I think it's made it. Okay, so let me say this. I'm pro athlete, so I love the idea of athletes making money. I love that, because a lot of people are just like, all you do is play. They don't understand that even as far as, I had an athlete contact me recently and was like, hey, I'm a nursing major, but my coach said I can't be if I want my scholarship. So he had to choose between his education or his scholarship. And he can't afford college, so he had to go. So now he's just like a Gen Ed student, and that sucks. Yeah. So I am pro paying our athletes so they can afford to live and they can afford to double up on classes if they need to pay for more, or whatever the case may be. Whatever they want to do with their money, I'm pro that. However, I am not pro the current NIL. It's just it's like the light is green, so just go. There's not a lot of regulations yet. And to me, that creates an unethical environment, unintentionally.
Yeah.
But there's so much, right now we have legalized pay for play. And I don't like that. Yeah. That's not fair.
So tell viewers who don't necessarily know what that is.
The better you pay, the more I will play, or the better you play, the better I will pay you. Yep. And that is not, that's not good. So right now, California has the most lax NIL deals, but also they're one of the richest states. And so a lot of people were upset about Lincoln Riley leaving, but I was not upset from the business standpoint, because I can go to any college. He didn't have to go where he went, but I go to any college in California, and I'm going to be able to get the best guys, because I'm going to be able to get them the best NIL deals. So my team's going to win. This is a win-win for me. Yeah. No matter if I piss off OU in the state of Oklahoma, this is a win-win. And then in turn, my paychecks are going to get even bigger. So my family's going to be good. Yeah. So for me, I loved it. of course, everybody hated it, and I am, my butt is orange, so I'm biased anyway. But it's like, it's changing because Oklahoma, although we do have multiple $1 million companies, we don't spend the marketing dollars. Mm-hmm. And so I saw a guy get a contract and signed it for like $50 a social media post. But what he didn't realize is the company that he went with to get the deal, they now own all of his Instagram photos and will for the next 5 years. So it's like, you're making no money and you just signed your personal social media. And there was a clause in his contract where he can't create another social media. So it's like,
hence the reason you have an agent.
Yeah. So it's like they just took all your intellectual property.
Yeah.
And so if there was more education, it would be great. If there were more rules, there would be great. Now, I don't like that they have to get it approved by the school first. Mm-hmm. I don't like that part because I don't go to my boss and say, hey, you can pay me, but here's what I did today. Approve that. Only if you approve what I did today is when I get my check.
Yeah.
That's not okay.
That's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So tell me where Brittani and her companies are 5 years from now. What's our goal?
Halfway to retirement. Listen, I started everything when I was 25. I want to work till I'm 35, and then it's going to be all about me. Maybe then I can actually have a life.
Right. I know.
For Brittani. I don't know. Who knows? Spiked is going to be awesome, though. So by then, I want to own 3 locations. Everything else I want to be franchised. Yep. Ideally, I like my players to be able to franchise it so that they have that generational wealth occurring. And then Agent Brittani is going to make history because she is going to have she's going to be the first woman in the NBA to have a top draft pick.
I love it.
And so, yeah, she's probably not even going to be in Oklahoma anymore.
Come on now. I just moved out of Oklahoma because you get all that.
Hey, people get a little money, they get bougie.
They do, I know, they do. Yeah, you might have 3-4 houses.
Yeah,
just keep one here, okay?
We'll have one here.
All
of my Spike locations will be here. So I will still be here. So.
Good deal. Brittani, this has been awesome. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
One of the things we'll put in the comments, guys, is all our contact information, everything to be able to reach out to you because there's going to be a lot of people that reach out to you. And I want to make sure that they get through to you. Even if they get ignored, it's okay, I think. But
well, here's the thing. I always respond to people. I respond to players too, but I always respond to people who want to be entrepreneurs.
That's good.
Because I'm going to tell you everything you don't want to hear.
The good, the bad, the ugly.
Yes.
That's right.
So that you're prepared for it. So then when it happens, you're like, this is how I get out of it.
And I knew I was expecting it.
Yeah.
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 I love it.
Because nobody told me that part.
I know, right?
And I'm like, you knew how horrible. Not horrible, but you knew the stresses I was going to have. And you didn't say anything.
There's a reason that only 1% of the entire nation is self-employed. It's because it's hard.
It is hard. And I tell myself every morning that it's going to be okay. 3-4 years from now, it's going to be okay. I won't have these concerns. Yeah. But it's just getting through that day to day.
It is. It's a day-to-day grind, one day at a time. And I say, our military phrase back in the day, when I was going through a lot of my training, was you got to fight like the third monkey boarding the ark, and it's starting to rain.
Oh, yeah.
Every
single
that's
a fight.
day. You got to fight. That's right.
That sums it up. Yeah, yeah.
It's life or death.
And it, like I said, it truly is a beautiful thing when you're able to help. It's the impact on the community that you have, for me, that just lights me up, and that's what keeps me going.
Awesome.
But that's just because my business is community specific. If that's not your business, then you may not have that motivation. So I would totally be a motivator and encourage everyone to keep going, but it does get hard.
Yeah. What would be the one piece of advice, other than to obviously not give up, but what would be the one piece of advice you'd give somebody that's looking to go into being entrepreneurship?
Talk to everybody.
Oh, good idea.
Because I think you talk to your group of people, and they only know what they know. Yeah.
And they're always going to be, hey, go, and they didn't tell you all that.
And that may not be the people you can call when the plumbing that you just laid down is backed up, and now you got to pay somebody to come cut it back up and replace some pipes, even though it's not even a year old. Right. So connect with as many entrepreneurs as you know. If you're faith, if you're religious person, definitely open your Bible. Definitely have your mustard seed.
That's right.
So many things I would say. Be patient, be encouraged, continue to fight. Don't give up. unless you do. And if you do give up, that's okay. Maybe it just wasn't the right time, but just talk to any and everybody who's willing to listen.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And get as many mentors as you can.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I could definitely say I've had a few in my day.
Yes. Oh, and the biggest thing is be receptive to hearing what you don't want to hear. Because I think we get so caught up in, that's not how I want my business to be ran, or that's not what I want. But like sometimes someone who's not even in your industry can come in and have the best idea for your industry. Yeah. But it just may not be what you want to hear. And so be receptive of that.
So tell me an example of that.
Oh, God. So spiked, like I said, we're super new. We're still trying to figure out how to be spiked. And someone was like, well, why don't you just close on Mondays? Because the sales suck on Mondays. And I was like, no, what coffee shop is closed on Monday? Like, just think about it. What coffee shop is closed on Monday? Yeah. But also during the summer, we don't have any traffic. So then initially I shut it down. And then I went back and I looked and I was like, on all of our Mondays this summer, we haven't made $1,000. That's like 8 Mondays. Yeah. But it's cost me more to have staffing on Mondays. So either I need to work so I don't have to pay myself, or we need to close. Right. And so now we're not closed, but we do have reduced hours on Mondays now.
That's good. Yeah, that's a perfect example. I know jewelry stores that have done it. I know all different types of areas where they always thought they had to be open all the time. Yeah. And you're right. The traffic, you got to keep up with your numbers. You got to know your numbers. Yeah. So knowing where that traffic's coming from, know when it's hot, when it's not. And that can really make an impact.
Yes, I actually, when I say that situation just happened to me not even a month ago, so I texted her this morning, I was like, you see today's hours? Because today we're only open from 10 to 3. Yeah. And actually, we've only had 3 customers. I'm like, well, I guess we're closed next Monday.
Yep. It's nice to know when you're right. Yeah. It's just like, yep, I was right. Yeah. Thank goodness, I didn't miss out on all the, yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, so you just got to be open to hearing what you don't want to hear.
Yes.
So.
Absolutely. Well, again, Brittany, thank you so much. I know you're a busy gal. I know all the things that you're doing is growing and fighting like that third monkey, right? Yep. And making sure that you could provide for your family going forward. I love it. Yeah. Thank you for sharing with us today. Thank you.
And anybody watching, please, please, please just DM us. I will always respond because I get it.
Awesome. Love it.